Hey, good morning. I hope you can hear me, and maybe hopefully the noise in the background isn't too loud. I am going to making sure, hopefully we are being recorded. I'm not seeing that. Hello, Clarice. Hello, Palani. Good morning. Hello, Keller Williams. It's Monday Motivation, and I'm Sally Hayes, and we're here still talking about the Millionaire Real Estate Agent book. And we are going to be diving into the economic model today. I am in the fabulous Reed House today, and I am here because the ALC is having a meeting. And so for those of you that may not know, Keller Williams is a company that allows the agents to have a say in how the companies run. So you have a board of directors from the top 20%, and your 2023 Leadership Council is meeting today with several other market centers across the Southeast region to kind of get a layout of what the ALC is about, what leadership skills they can grow this year, and how they can represent you guys and also grow themselves as leaders. So I'm here helping them set up. It's beautiful here, and I'm excited to do Millionaire Real Estate Agent here live from the Reed House. So letting a few folks on. I've got Janet with me today now, and Julie. Good morning, you guys. Can you hear me okay? Can you hear me okay? Because I know there's piano playing in the background.
Yes.
It's a little bit of noise. It's a little energetic. I love it. All right, so I wanted to start this morning. I pulled out one of my books. Like, I've been to a lot of different events with Keller Williams, and I've written so many notes over the years. And I wanted to go through the 3 R's before we get started as a little motivation today. And I wrote down at the top of this page, your inner world determines your outer room. I thought that was very interesting. I thought it was, somebody must have said it in a class. I wrote it down as a nugget. Your inner world determines your outer room. So there are 3 R's that you need to know about that may get in the way of success for you. And just think about these as you go through the week. Your success is your own fault. And so we're going to be talking about the economic model today. And your success is your own fault, and your setbacks are your responsibility. Those 3 R's that could hold you back that are self-destructive are resentment, number 1. The way you handle resentment can turn life around. And so it can also destroy you if you let that resistance happen. Resistance is the 2nd R. Make a list of what you resist in your life and how much it's costing you. So I thought this is a good little few-minute exercise to do. And then revenge. Ooh, revenge attempt to get even or settle a score. And attempt is the key word here. So I know revenge sounds strong, and we're thinking about this dark villainous character, but isn't it true that sometimes if we can get in our own way, if there's a transaction happening and things aren't going right, and you think somebody else in the world is purposely trying to hold you back, that you might secretly want to get them back? It could be in a small way, it could be in a big way, but don't let the 3 R's stand in your way of success. How do you get rid of the 3 R's? Give of yourself, maintain open and honest lines of communication, fight fairly because you're negotiating, avoid regret, and take responsibility for your actions and feelings. I also wrote down GOI. What does that stand for? Get over it. So evidently I thought that was great too, but I wanted to share some nuggets that from my bookshelf for you this morning, and I hope you had a great weekend. So let's dive into our section. We are starting with the model of your economic model, and I know we've talked about it several times, and we're on like pages 129 today, beginning out. And the economic model is really like the engine of your car, right? It's the engine of your car and how it's going to, everything's going to run, and you can chunk down how you're going to get there through the economic model. Have any of you, I know some of you have done the business planning clinic. As we've gone through this book, have you figured out how, what it looks like to make the net income that you want? any of you on in the room right now already have done this for 2023 and looked at how much net income you wanted to make and backed into the economic model from the business planning clinic? Just show of hands. Anyone done that? Okay, I love it. Guys, I think this part of the book sometimes especially if you don't love numbers and you're not a natural number lover, it's like, woo, I don't even want to go through that big, long equation, all the percentages and the conversion rates and all that. It seems a little daunting, doesn't it? Anybody feel like that besides me? I feel like I'm doing all the talking here. I'm going to make sure you can hear me. So I do. I mean, it's going to be real, but the economic model says where your money comes from, your gross revenue, and then where your money is going, your expensive, and how much is left for you. And don't we do this in our personal lives? We know how much is coming in, we know what our fixed expenses are and what we've got left over, and we get to take a barometer of that as we go along, right? The thing what I loved about this is it said everyone has an economic model. Oh, Adrian's getting in here. Yay, Adrian. She had trouble the other week. Everyone has an economic model. Everyone. It might not be great though. Did you guys get that from that first chapter? Hello, Bueller. Guys, come on and talk to me this morning.
I guess if everyone has an economic model, they just may not be aware of it.
Yeah,
I think a lot of people don't follow any model for their economics.
No, they don't know where their money comes from. They don't know where it goes, right? They don't pay attention to that. They're very entrepreneurial at a high level. I wrote down at the bottom of my page, some agents run a Cotton Eye Joe business. Do y'all know that song? Cotton Eye Joe, where did he come from? Where did he go? That's kind of what agents are doing. They're not really paying attention. They're just living life, right? So the fallacy is that people think that if you just work really hard and spend money, you're going to be successful. And that's not true. That's not true. So the 3 areas of the economic model that you need to know are focus on the numbers that you hit, right? Focus on appointments, right? And focus on conversion. Now, the only way I've ever been able to know all 3 of those is to track everything. So and that's not super fun all the time, right? It's a habit. So that literally is, the conversion rate, you can only know that if you track your numbers. That's the only way you're going to figure that out.
And the conversion rate, Sally,
Go ahead.
Sally, the conversion rate can make such a difference. Even,
Yeah.
a couple percentage points in one of them can make such a difference in the bottom line.
Absolutely.
So if you're not happy with your conversion rates, then there are classes to help you work on those.
I absolutely love that. And you know what? I think that that's the awareness of starting just really honing in on the engine of the business and paying attention to all those metrics. You have to have performance numbers to make that work. So on page 131, there's the formula. If you went to the business planning clinic, you notice that it was kind of flipped upside down on the page. It started off asking you gross and net and doing expenses, and then it worked down. And in the MREA book, it looks a little different, but it's the same thing, right? And what I loved about the business planning clinic is it gave you a half MREA too. So if you're here and you are working on numbers, I think you should start off keeping it simple. Like literally, I wrote down, if you wanted to net 250, if you wanted to net 250,000, I did very simple. That's going to be like less than 36 units, which means you can do 36 units without an admin. You might want to do a contract to close person, but you're not paying a full-time admin. But I went ahead and put in my expenses a 30-hour, $15 an hour person, because you're probably going to be, when you hit this level, start looking to hire someone, right? So the good news is to do that and to cap, because you would be a capper, you would have gross 300,000 in gross income, and with the expensive and the cost of sales, it's 34 units. So literally three listing appointments a month and 3 buyer listing appointments a month. And buyer listing just means you're taking a buyer rep agreement. So it doesn't mean that you're following up with buyers and showing them houses. It means you're finding 3 new buyers and putting them in the pipeline. So do you guys feel like that's a doable number? 3 listing appointments a month and 3 buyer listing appointments a month? What do you think? I mean, that's really chunking it down, isn't it? So when you know those numbers, then you can focus on that in terms of getting started. And I think that was an aha, is that's all you need to do. You are a lead generator, that's your job, but knowing how many leads you need to fill those appointments are also part of the equation. What did you guys get from those several pages talking about the economic model? Warnie, I can't hear you today.
Okay. Hey, we are.
There you go. There you go.
I was just going to say on focusing on appointments. It's probably like the main thing. And that will
Do
drive
you
your.
guys know where they're having their ALC? Is that what it's called, ALC, the meeting? I know it's today.
Yes. Adrian, are you
James
talking
Frost.
to us or are you talking to someone else?
Yeah, I didn't know if she's talking to us or not.
I'm so sorry. I'm going to mute.
Okay. Hey, Warnie, go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, I was just going to say, I was talking about focusing on appointments. That more or less can determine exactly where you want to go in terms of your GCI and what your goals are. So from those appointments, then you can make your conversions, from that economic model that you're talking about.
I love that, because when you go, okay, I need to have 3 listing appointments, and you've gone on 3 listing appointments, but you didn't take any listings, that's where that conversion number that Janet was also talking about comes into play. Is what am I not saying? What am I doing? What does that look like? And then you can tweak that. Right. And so especially if you change that conversion number to higher, like the one that I just told you was the same conversion numbers that was in the business planning clinic. So if you're better than that, that's less appointments, right? And more time on your hands. So I think knowing that is key. Thank you, Warnie. I also went into appointments. Did you guys know that the market center is actually run like a big mega agent team? I don't know if you've ever heard that or not. We have a budget. We also have numbers. We have determined that if I go on 10 appointments to change someone's life to join Keller Williams a week, that ends 40 appointments a month. I should have 10 people that join the company. So it's the same thing that you're doing with listings and with buyers. And when we know those numbers and we work to hit those, the other things should fall into place as we hone our conversion skills. So it is the engine. Now, the thing that drives the engine is leads, right? Economic and lead gen model work tandem to each other. They're hand in hand. So they go hand in hand together. And the lead gen is the fuel that goes into the engine. So you have to know how many leads you need to get those 6 appointments, right? That we talked about to net 250,000. So that is a positioning battle. What did you guys think about the brand awareness and grabbing mind share with people? Had you thought about that in your business? That's on page 134. There was a model there about mind share and how your brain works. And people can't hold more than 7 brand products of any one thing in their mind. Like if you asked them to list, they'd have trouble after 7. Right? How many potato chip brands can you name? Great Value. Has Walmart become a brand part of the 7? What do you guys think?
I think 7's high.
Yeah. 7. I found it interesting that it was 7 for regular other products in our lives, but real estate agents, they chunked down to at least 2 real estate agents that most people can think of off the top of their head. And there might be 2 different, not everybody's going to name the same 2, right? I think that's from those NAR statistics. How are you guys creating that in your business? That branding?
Well, sometimes with swag.
Swag. We're
Yeah.
giving out swag today here at the ALC clinic. I think that's one thing. And then you probably are not doing that to the entire world. You're not giving the entire world swag, right?
Right.
You may be giving swag to a core group, and we'll talk about those target markets in the next section that we talk about. I'm excited about the lead gen part and the connecting part. So I wrote down too that you get mind share through consistent and systematic lead generation, and lead generation is prospecting and marketing. Prospecting is that face-to-face, voice-to-voice connection, and marketing is that long-term drip or the things that you're doing and you want to be prospecting based and marketing enhanced. So prospecting is the thing that'll cost you the least amount of money with the biggest return on your investment, but you also need to do both of them. You need to have both marketing and prospecting in your business. But if you're only just sending out postcards and you're only just doing little emails and you're only doing door hangers, what are all those things? Are they prospecting or marketing?
Those are marketing.
That's
Those are
marketing.
So you're going to have you have to do a lot of that and for a longer period of time to actually get the leads that you want to get. And we're trying to get a lot of leads in our engine, right? A lot of gas in our engine. Right there. So it is about playing a numbers game. And on page 135, it talks about the quality is in the quantity, and it truly is. I guess if you have a great conversion rate, like Janet was talking about, you might not necessarily have to have as many things coming in as leads, the lead candidates, as you would if you were a high converter, but they would have to be right now leads. And I think a lot of people want to grab leads as they're ready to monetize. And that's just not how it works. You're going to have to do some strategies and some drips along the way to be able to get the numbers to come out in your favor. I had read at the top, the big question and challenge is how to win those who are, and I'm having trouble seeing you guys. I know I have my glasses on. So the big question and challenge is how to win those first two positions of real estate mind share with enough people. And the answer is through systematic lead generation efforts. And there's that word systematic. What did you guys take away from talking about playing the numbers game?
Well, again, you have to know your conversion rates.
Yeah.
Numbers don't lie.
Oh, that was a good one. Was that Adrian?
Yes.
Hello, Adrian. Numbers don't lie. Yeah, it brings you right back to reality, doesn't it? When you think you're having busyness, and then you look at the numbers and they're not working. If you go way back to the lead gen and the appointments and all of that, that's where it shows up, right? If you've not done enough of it. So you just pour the gas on, put more gas in the engine. Numbers.
And also just to be intentional.
Be intentional. Yes, I love that. And that consistency. I wrote down consistency and frequency versus creativity. And that creativity is that, helter-skelter economic model where we're just doing whatever, whenever. We're not following a system. And creativity is not going to win on that one. I had highlighted and wrote aha and pointed over, even though it's so simple. And I know you said this, Warnie, your lead generation plan must always be more ambitious than your income goals. So while we've picked an income goal, we've got to way ramp up and super focus on what the lead gen is, because that's the gas. So why do you think we don't do that? Why do we not do that?
I think we can lull ourselves into thinking, oh, if I just do the minimum, I'm going to get the results. And the thing is, the more you put in, the different ratios you're going to have. Kind of like the law of statistics. You've got to have it's statistically significant before it really is going to come together and make sense.
I love that. I think
Yeah.
that's true.
I was gonna
And-
say too, Sally, a lot of it depends on our big why. You know, why are we doing what we're doing? And if we have a big enough why, then that'll motivate us to whatever, getting back to being intentional, that'll motivate us to just go ahead and do the things that are necessary to get the GCI that we need.
I love that. And that goes back to the beginning of the book on how we think. And I
Right.
believe that we have to go through this book over and over and over because we lose our way. And
Right.
it's our roadmap, right? It's okay. Everyone does. And this is what I think is really great about our company is that these are the conversations we need to keep having. Hey, Adrian, I see your hand up. I know you always have some great nuggets.
Well, I think this is one of the things that Keller Williams does so well is for training, and they point these things out because I think, especially being, a year and a half into doing real estate, it's something that you don't necessarily realize until it's actually pointed out, like you're training us, you're teaching us about. So when it's pointed out, then we can make that adjustment and that change and be intentional and be aware.
I love it. And you know what? Being here with you guys makes me better. I mean, I believe this conversation helps all of us as we go through what we're trying to accomplish. And there is no try, right? What we are accomplishing. Thank you, Adrian. I had circled underneath that goal of, or that conversation about your income goals and your lead gen plan needs to be more ambitious. It says it's never more true than when it's applied to lead generation and for that consistency and that frequency. Markets shift, conversion rates slide, and the things just happen over time that could cause you to need more leads than you originally thought you would need. So every single day, maybe you even put like some little sticky note or something somewhere that you say, how many new leads did I get today? And where did they come from? Right? Even if you just start looking at that and thinking about new leads, not people in your pipeline, not people that you've already talked to, those are not new anymore, but you're going to find new leads and you need to look for that every single day. Maybe just get a notebook that's about leads. How many did you get today? And start tracking that. And then you're going to start thinking about what are places or where are my leads coming from? So you'll know what your best lead sources are, because we're going to talk about that next week. That'll be a lot of fun. What I want you guys to do, and you guys watching, because I know some of you are watching this or watch it later, please fill out an economic model this week. Go through, if you need help with that, come and see me. Right? If you need help with that, let's get that for you set up before you start 2023. So you'll have your engine ready. We've got some great things in December. We've got a come and hang out together in the training room and clean up your database and get ready. That could be part of that. So we want you guys to be successful because we have the best agents in the business. And we want you to have a powerful business. So please do your economic model and come back next week and be able to tell me how many listing appointments you need a month and how many buyer listing appointments do you need a month. So we can talk about how you're going to get the fuel to get there. Is that okay? Everybody good? Like I have the same group here most of the time here. Carol's not on here today and Drew, but we'll get with them. And let's be purposeful and let's help each other. Sound good?
Sounds good.
Yay.
Yes.
Guys, Adrian, I heard you say you weren't on here. I am at the Reed House. We are having the Agent Leadership Council clinic today. There are market centers from Knoxville, I'm sure from Atlanta. They're just all over the Southeast region, all coming here today. And so this is a time for Jay to be able to work with those leaders to come back and be your board of directors for 2023. And so it's going to be exciting. And I look forward to seeing y'all soon. I'll be back at the Market Center probably in the next hour. So I'll chat then. Y'all have a wonderful week and I love being in business with you guys.
Thanks, Sally.
Thanks, Sally.
See you soon.